suck it up. It's like a giant wet dry vac for salmon. It's just like whoosh. Ah! What the fuck is that? Ada's live with some fava beans over there, man.
That's my dry vac.
Oh, yeah.
That's salmon.
The salmon. Bloop, doop, bloop, bloop, bloop.
I mean, what does a salmon sound like going into a dry vac? Like, what does that sound like? I could just imagine, like, you know those sound people for, like, movies? Like,
Yes.
They use, like, random-ass noises?
Yes, yes.
Like,
What is a salmon
Fuck.
in... Wow, you already got a phone call. From whom?
who else?
Hi, Arlene.
Hello? Hi. How are you? Cool. I mean, there's a hole in the, Hello?
Yeah, well, there's a hole in my butt, and you don't hear me complaining, so...
And we're on a podcast?
Arlene, you want to shout out your boys?
Because you would have been like, what? Well, they're fine for now, but I let him out in the yard, and he keeps pulling on that freaking drain pipe.
Get wrecked. Maybe one day he'll remember the drain pipe is there.
Yep.
Okay, can you not chew gum during the podcast, though? Because that would... I will break you. Dear God, you really are brokey, aren't you? Motherfucker.
I'll keep it in the back of my mouth.
Oh, you're gonna spit it the fuck out. What, a 2-cent piece of gum you don't want to spit it out?
No, it's already in my mouth.
It's already in my mouth. So
bye.
with at least 200 different species of bacteria. Go get rid of them.
Yeah. You sure it's 200?
It's probably less than that. Hey, Google, how many species of bacteria live in your mouth?
We got these pop filters.
There are more than 700 different
700. I'm sorry, 200 was
Shit.
too little. The
You're
answer is
off.
700 different types of bacteria. Which doesn't surprise me. I heard a figure once that the number of like bacterial cells in your body outnumber the number of like actual like human cells in your body, but I don't think that's true. Like I read, I think that's a misnomer or something. I don't know.
Ah.
It's just a little strange. So,
Hello.
wait, I was gonna tell you a story of something, and then we said, no, wait, I'll save it for the podcast, or I'll save it for the pre-stream. Now, oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. You never know how knowing something will help you in some other part, and there we were talking about
Like physics and shit.
yeah, how one of the calculations that quantum physicists would do to figure out the probability of a spin of an electron in an atom eventually ended up being utilized to create a biodiversity index to calculate the number of species in an ecosystem. And the songwriter for the band Nanowar of Steel, the parody band out of Italy,
Mm-hmm.
the bassist and songwriter, he's an astrophysicist, like legitimate PhD theoretical astrophysicist.
So
And they were doing like one of those house tours, you know. It's like MTV Cribs, but it was like like whatever record company they own house tours. And he was talking about, like, through his book collection. He's like, oh, yeah, so this is a book I'm reading on machine learning in the finance industry, because one of the projects I'm working on now is machine learning for astrophysics. And I'm wondering if there's anything that they do that I can use in my research. And I'm like, yeah, you see, that's where you go. You just, this is vaguely related. Let's see.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I guess that's something we'll talk about on the podcast, how knowing more is never, knowing more is never going to harm you. The more you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the basis of almost everything. That's how
I'll bring it up too, right? I still hold this as true. You do not get hired for your qualifications. Everybody applying to a job has the same qualifications.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a programmer and you're applying to a programming position, every other programmer that's there, they know the same languages, you know, they work with the same UIs, they know all the same shit. You know, what, at a job interview, what they're trying to do is, number one, does your personality fit? So, who are you? How do you respond to things? How do you respond to questions? You know, who are you as a person? Are you somebody people want to work with? And number two, what do you bring to the table that's different than everybody else? Okay, everybody else is a programmer. Great. What do you do different? What can you give us? Or what else do you know that would make you more valuable to us than somebody else?
I wonder what
And not enough people tell you that.
I wonder what the percentage is of people who lie on their resume but have those specific personality traits that they might be looking for. Like, I wonder, and get hired. I wonder what that percentage is.
Okay. Well, to be fair, I mean, if you're working for a, okay, so usually, so let's go with the programming example. They usually require a portfolio, you know, so it's not, you can't exactly lie your way into a programming job.
What if you steal somebody's portfolio?
Just from GitHub, you just Control-C, Control-V,
can't
GitHub.
you do that?
Yeah, I mean, fair point.
Why not?
Well, high-level positions, they're actually going to ask you to write a specific script for them.
Like, I mean, once you're
gonna
actually
be
on the job, you're fucked.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, that's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna lie and say, you know, whatever it is, and hope for the best, like a doctor or something like that.
Well, you have to be
surgeon.
board certified. Like for certain,
Right.
I mean, for certain things, you can't lie your way into
That's
a job.
true.
You know, you can't do it.
That's true.
But there are cheat codes.
Yeah.
You know, American med school is a nightmare and it's expensive as hell. But you can get a medical degree from anywhere in the world, come here, and the only thing you need to do is pass your boards. And it's not like it's not like medicine is different in other countries, you know?
Right.
Like, you go to the University of fucking, I don't know, Warsaw, who cares? They teach in English. It's not like anybody cares. You get your MD, then you come to the States, you pass your boards, and you're good. There is no qualification that to take American boards, you need to graduate from an American university. So,
Right.
just take your qualifying boards and you're good.
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Shit. God bless those people.
Dear God. You know, and here's the...
And all the school.
You know, I have, you know, because I was in biology, you know, a lot of the people who graduated with a biology degree go on to med school. So, you know, because it's cell biology, biochem, we all know each other for like the first 2-3 years of college. You don't necessarily need to be super smart to pass med school. You just need grit. Like, and I think that, like, you don't need to be smart to be a doctor. And I think that's where people get lost. You do not need to be smart to be a doctor.
This is the clip.
You need to be smart if you're going to go into research. If you're going to go into medical research,
Right.
you need to be smart. But to be a doctor, you really just need grit. Like you just need to...
Judgment.
Like, you just need to sit there and hustle through the work. That's it.
Yeah.
Because it's a skill. Like, that's why they call it... you practice medicine.
Right.
It's a skill. Diagnosis is a skill. All of it is a skill. You know, it's something that develops over time. That's why, you know, you always go for doctors with experience, right? They've seen the most shit. They know what's going to go wrong. You don't necessarily need to be smart. Like, smart is not a prerequisite for med school. It's can you grind through it?
And I think it's funny because it's
Yeah.
like, I'm glad you bring the doctor thing up because, like, usually if you go to, like, a general practitioner, usually they don't know shit. Like, if you go to your general practitioner and you're like, oh, well, I'm feeling this and that, and I'm not sure if it might be this, and they usually do what? They send them to like an expert or whatever.
In defense of GPs.
GP?
They in defense
We're
of family
sorry.
doctors and sports medicine and all the people who see a lot of patients, you know,
We're
they
sorry.
see like 50 patients a day.
Yeah.
You know, their job is it something that's easy to diagnose Is it something that they can deal with like a very simple prescription? Otherwise,
Yep, that's a cold. Take Tylenol.
yeah, otherwise, their job actually does become more complicated because they're the first barrier of entry to specialist care. So they need to run, number one, they need to run a couple of tests to narrow down who to send you to, right? You could have pain in your gut, but, you know, whether to send you to an endocrinologist, because maybe it has something to do with your with your hormones. Maybe you need to see a urologist because it's something to do with your kidneys. Maybe you need to see a gastroenterologist because it has something to do with your gut. Fuck, maybe it's your liver, you know? Like, this is, oh, my tummy hurts is a very broad issue. So it's their job to narrow down which specialist to go to, which is not an easy thing. In defense, am I seriously defending doctors right now as if they need defending? Fucking hell.
I mean, why not? Within the context here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe they pulled their abdomen. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a hernia and you just need to see a general surgeon. Just pop it back in, you know? It's
Right.
There's so many things that could go wrong.
What's a general surgeon? Like, what does a general surgeon
So a general
do?
surgeon, a general surgeon does very common procedures. So something like
example?
port placements for surgeries, like tumor removals that aren't in specialist areas. So let's say you have a tumor in your neck or one of your lymph nodes. A general surgeon removes that shit.
I see.
Then you get specialist surgeon, right? Like the
I mean,
orthopedic
there isn't, like, a
surgeons who
lymph
work
node
with domes.
specialist.
Yes, they're actually probably hematologists because your lymphatic system. So it's immunologists and hematologists, most of which are generally not surgeons. Yeah, for something as simple as a lymph node, like you don't need a specialist for that. It's a general surgeon. But if you have issues with your lymph nodes, you would see an immunologist, doctor specific for the immune system and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, once they're at the specialist or the general doctor is like, yeah, it sounds like it could be this, so you go to this specialist, and it might not actually be that, but the only thing they know is that very specific thing, so then you're like...
Well, so here's the thing. Most specialists will have more than one board. So if you think about like a specialist, they're also going to have their family medicine license, like
Right.
or specialization or whatever.
So they could kind of
Yeah.
narrow it down further.
And there's a lot of that will double up. Like if you're oncology, so if you're a cancer doctor, you will generally be board certified in oncology and then whatever specific thing you are. So let's say like my doctor was hematology oncology, so blood and cancer. You'll get an orthopedic oncologist, so bone and cancer, brain and cancer, you know, and they'll have like 2 board certifications because they deal with both. Which the board exams are, that drives people crazy.
Who do you know has taken one?
A handful. So my friend Anna, my friend Ben, I think that's all the only 2 that I actually know.
What would
that have
they?
gone on to
What do
med
they
school.
complain about? Like what kind of stuff?
It's just a workload.
Okay,
It really
it's
is.
a lot.
Yeah, it's just because it's so fast. You know, you have to learn so much in like 2 weeks and then you move on. It's just so much shit.
Yikes! Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You don't. I wish I should tell my kids more of my kids this, or another one is like I'm not good at math. No, you're not good at arithmetic. Get to college, take calculus. It'll make sense to you. I promise. Like. I hate math. Yes, you hate math because you haven't taken calculus yet, okay?
Is that something you tell your kids?
Yes, and if you love math, you're screwed when you get to calculus.
What do they love? Math. What do you tell that kid?
Go into engineering? No, applied math. Honest, if you want to make money and you don't care what you do, you study applied mathematics because everybody in the world could use an applied mathematician. Businesses hire them to make models. If you think about like
Applied math, like what? Problem solving?
essentially, applied mathematics is can you apply math to a whole bunch of different scenarios. So applied mathematicians work for everything from disease spread to finance to literally everything that includes numbers has an applied mathematician behind it. Everything. Like I'm even like retail, like who actually creates the algorithms that determine how many packages you need to send to which store.
So what
that's
is-
an applied mathematician.
What is the I mean the curriculum, it's not, I mean I guess it's general, because I guess the way they use the numbers is a very
It's number
simple
theory.
thing,
So number theory,
or a common thing among all those specific
number
things you
theory, calculus, probability and statistics, algorithms. I don't even. It's so hard to to describe what math is, because we teach you arithmetic, and then there's all these other types of math. Like there are so many different types of math. Like what we do in the United States, like when we teach math, is imagine taking science, right? And you take science every year from kindergarten all the way to your senior year of high school, right? Mm-hmm. And we know in our heads, right? Yeah, there's biology, environmental science, chemistry, physics, astronomy. There's all these sciences, right?
Yeah.
You learn one, math. You learn arithmetic. If
One
you're
math,
lucky
please.
enough, and you might take pre-calc or something, you learn a couple of other maths, but you learn math. There's all these other maths, and abstract math, and combinatorics, and set theory, and all these different types of math. But we only teach you one, and it's obnoxious. I hate it. Did you shit yourself?
Yeah.
God damn it.
I don't think that was audible, but you heard
Oh,
it.
it's 4:30.
It's 4:29,
Oh,
according to my watch.
4:29. We run the intro at 4:30.
All right, I'm gonna just wait with
We're gonna wait?
anxiety. and
Yeah,
just
wait
hit
with
the button.
anxiety. Oh,
429,
429, 429, 429, 429, 429, 429, 429, 429, 429, 429. God, that shit, that's fucking 4:30. Run the intro.
It was it. Oh, phew. Now I can breathe easy. Breathe easy.
Oh, bros and brolettes.
Vikings and Valkyries.
Welcome to Iron Theory.
A podcast about fitness, life, and everything in between.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Chris. Oh, shit.
All right, so we're just gonna go straight in from the. God, we talked a lot in the pre-stream.
About
to check out our
docs.
pre-stream only on Twitch. Join us, Twitch. The official podcast starts at 4:30. At some time before 4:30, sometimes 4, sometimes 4:15, sometimes 4:25. Who knows? Join us on Twitch.tv/Iron Theory for the pre-stream before 4:30 every day. It's a whole bunch of bullshittery. Otherwise, wherever you're listening to us is where you listen to the rest of us. Today, Chris, we're talking about the second point in the Swole Trinity, because we already talked about Swole of Body.
Yes, sir.
Today, we're talking about Swole of Mind.
Yes,
Next
sir.
week, we'll talk about Swole of Heart.
I almost forgot what that third one was. I was
Yep.
like, Yep, he said it. Yep.
Be
Full of
strong, be
heart.
smart. What's the other one? Oh yeah, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
And in the pre-stream, we were talking about a little bit about like how important learning is. So that's what we want to make the point of this episode, right? We talked about this early on. Swole is a trinity. Sure, strong body, but you need strong mind and you need a strong heart.
What? I just don't
Let's
need
get started.
swole muscles.
What do we do with our feelings?
We pick them up.
What do we do with
I don't
our
know about
feelings?
you.
We hide them in our muscles. And what if you're depressed? You get bigger muscles.
Exactly. What else do you need? Damn it. But to the one point you said about what time we kind of start. You know who does know? Our followers. Go follow, go like all our social medias and all that, and then you'll know exactly when, where, and how to be Iron Theory.
Yes, we got a TikTok, the Iron Theory on TikTok. On Instagram, we got Iron Theory CG. And we got Iron Theory _ AW. I added the underscore because I think I'm special.
I was wondering, actually. I was like, was he going to say the underscore?
Of course I'm going to say the underscore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iron Theory. Yep.
So let's get started. Chris,
Yep.
I'm actually going to start with you because you are, this is your job, right?
Yeah.
Knowing fitness
Yeah.
is your job. So how did you learn it? What was your, actual learning journey? How did you pick up the information, the science, and all of that to do what you do the best in the Midwest, by the way?
To be honest, in the beginning, it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of YouTube University, a lot of just like the know-how, the bro talk. Like when everybody first gets into just training and lifting, like everybody wants to understand some general sense of how to do these things, albeit it's, you know, very, very bare bones for the most part. Not until you actually jump in and, like, if you decide to go down the rabbit hole, become a personal trainer, kinesiology and all that fun stuff, and then you learn all the fancy words and all the practicality shit. Yeah, I mean, at first it was trial and error. It was just like trying to figure it out myself. Going to the gym, well, that doesn't work. Okay, 3 months later, oh, that's not working. And then, you know.
And I remember the early days, Planet Fitness. Yeah. And I think the first time I ever hopped on, or the first time I ever worked out with you, you were probably on the Chris Helmsworth
I mean, it was
Thor
literally
workout
it was like
from bodybuilding.com.
Yeah, it was it was like, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, because how many people are like, I need a plan, I need to figure it out, I need to Google search, go to Google, right? Go to Google, type in whatever. Oh, I want to look like this guy. Okay, how does this person do it? Google search celebrity or whatever, and yeah, I mean, that was it. And then it was like, oh, okay, this is what they do. And then you were just like, all right, just do that. But, you know, as you keep going and experiencing and researching and all that, and then you start to learn more. Yeah.
And then you learn that celebrity's entire routine was programmed by a coach to create a particular aesthetic for him based on his body type and his nutrition and his like levers and leverages and everything. And oh man, once you start popping, that's the hard part, right? Programming, I mean, it seems easy. So let's talk about your actual book learning, right? So what's your background? What do you do? What did you study? And how did some of that apply to what you do now?
So my certification is through ISSA, so it's the CPT through ISSA, and then I did sports nutrition as well.
What is the ISSA?
So the International Science of Sports Academy, I forget, I think that's what it was, but it's a training certification company that is one of the few accredited within the United States, or I guess broad. I think they're actually broad. So just like NASM, ACSM, NSCA, all those stuff. So they have a curriculum, they have some kind of textbook, you know, there's a bunch of words, there's a test, then you take your test. And then you pass, you fail, and then it's
So here's my question. Did you study for it?
Yeah. I mean, you had to.
How so how did you so what did you do to help prepare? Actually, and I think that's a good idea, because a lot of people who are listening to this fitness podcast are either into fitness or might be thinking about becoming a personal trainer or getting into coaching. How would you recommend somebody start, like the actual book learning part of it?
Well, I mean, it's separated into different things. So it goes over the skeletal system, the muscular system, the training programming. So specifically like the CPT stuff. So NASM might specifically cater more towards like the training side. So they're more on the programming training side, how to train a client. Like that's the meat and potatoes of that. And then of course everything else they'll brush over. So the skeletal system, muscular system, cardiovascular system, all that fun stuff. So that's across the board from what I've seen, from what I've read. So mine is well-rounded. So as far as all that information, it's all there. So there's a book, but the nice thing about ISSA is that, you know, the learning, a lot of the quizzes are online. So you go through the quizzes, you know, every chapter, pass, fail, study that. And then, I mean, it wasn't like difficult per se, but, you know, it's just one of those things. Like after I read the book, usually I'm just referring to the information, you know?
Got it.
Yeah.
So now you did go to college.
Yeah.
But you didn't specialize in fitness.
Right.
So if I remember, you were in the College of Business at your school, right?
Yep. Mhm.
What did you? What was it? Marketing or
It was marketing.
It was
Yeah.
marketing. So tell me about the bridge from like your actual college education, your degree in marketing, and your business in marketing, and how did that transition over to you as a personal trainer?
So, I mean, with marketing, it's very, advertising. There's a psychology to it. I think the biggest carryover from my marketing classes is just kind of understanding, just kind of the human psychology, just kind of like the person that you might be selling to. Specifically in like marketing, you're selling some kind of product. So, for instance, in training, you're selling yourself. You are trying to help this other person that you're trying to help, right? So that's what I take from marketing, and then everything else, like my previous jobs. So, Best Buy and stuff like that, the customer service portion definitely helped. It's like interacting with people. But then, there's some similarities. If you actually go through kinesiology and go through that specific degree, a lot of that information is going to be the same. It's just like, okay, you're taking like, 10 extra classes or whatever, and then you're just very specific stuff. But a lot of that information is exactly the same.
And this is something that I brought up in the pre-stream, and it's definitely something I want to bring up like in the actual stream. Most people applying for a job who are applying for a position, you have the same qualifications as everybody else in there, right? If you're applying to be a certified personal trainer in a gym, right? Perhaps you're not training, perhaps you don't have your own private practice or something like that. Everybody applying to that position has their CPT. They are a certified personal trainer. They all have the same qualifications. And this is true for any job, programmer, I don't care, whatever, teacher. Everybody applying for that position, they have the same qualifications as you. They have the same licenses as you. It's all the same.
Right.
The question is for an employer, and I stress this so much to everybody and to my own students, nobody cares what your qualifications are. We already know you're qualified. You're applying to the job, okay?
Right.
In that interview, they're trying to figure out, number one, are you somebody people want to work with? Right? That's number one. And number two, what other things can you bring to the table that other people can't? Right? What more do you know? What more can you bring? What else can you offer that other people can't?
And I see, like, because I would sit sometimes through some of the interviews, like when I'm training people, but, somebody comes in, they want to be a trainer or whatever, and a lot of people think it's very simple. Maybe at face value it looks very simple. You're just there, and people are exercising. But like I'll just hear some of these answers that these potential trainers say. As far as like, oh, what else can you do? What kind of like how would you train this kind of a person? And usually their answers are kind of bad, if they're just not well-rounded as far as, being a people person, actually knowing a lot of that information, the different types of populations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my suggestion then is like, don't just be genuine and honest. Like, why are you going to like pretend to know how to train somebody who had a surgery or some shit if you don't?
Actually, yeah, that's a fair point. Sometimes, and I know this because I did hire people. I was in, assistant management and in Vitamin Shop, right? I did interview people. Just be honest, like make yourself trainable. Like you're a personal trainer. Can you be trained how to train? Make sure that you are willing to learn. And I think that's what I need to bring up. Always be willing to learn more. Always be willing to be well-rounded.
Yep.
Be able to have a conversation with anybody about anything at any moment.
Definitely.
You don't have to be a super genius, but know enough to at least ask questions about things,
Like that's the main thing, as I would learn more about just being on the job, just actually training people. Like what does it look like? Like if I didn't have a question, I would try to find a question, when I would shadow and stuff like that. Like that's just something I'm like, okay. I just want to know. Like I want to make sure I do the best that I can with all the information that I can possibly have. And if I don't know something, I'm not going to tell them that I know it because then it's like, okay, I'm just doing them a disservice. And I'm doing myself a disservice by essentially lying.
Yeah, and sometimes being a professional doesn't mean that you know the answers off the top of your head.
No.
It means you know how to get the answer.
Right.
Right. I mean, part of my job is not just like teaching kids information. It's teaching them how to find things out for themselves. Right. That's the
Right.
skill that we're trying to figure out.
Critical thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So being well-rounded is very useful for any job. I mean, especially for something like a personal trainer, right? Where you're talking with people, you're coaching them on fitness, you're coaching them on nutrition. You're also probably talking to them about whatever their interests are, right? Be willing to learn.
Right.
Always learn.
So, I mean, I guess just to kind of keep bouncing off of that, well, I guess from my end, but I guess from your end, becoming a teacher or like going through the process, going through college and stuff like that, what was that experience like for you? And then, yeah, I mean, just, I guess go off of that. Like, what did that look like when you that first year? Because I know you did business for a little bit, for like a year, maybe a semester or two, whatever it was. And then you transitioned to teaching.
Yeah.
So
So the transition out of business into teaching, it's hard for me to even determine how I started in business school because it was out of nowhere.
But what did you get anything out of that? Did you get anything out of business, or did you learn anything there that was like, okay, well, I guess I can kind of use this?
I learned that a good enough accountant can write off toilet paper as a capital expense.
See, I think that's
it's in
valuable.
a different tax bracket.
I think that's
Yeah,
valuable.
no, not a single damn thing. In fact,
Yeah.
what I learned in business management is that if you just want to go to college to party and not study anything ever, you study business.
Right.
Because literally, I mean, if you have half a functioning brain cell, you can make it through business school just fine. Maybe accounting 2 might get a little tricky, especially if you're like studying for your CPA or something.
Sure.
That might get, a little tricky, or maybe they'll force business calculus on you, which, okay, fine, might be a little difficult, but it's not. Believe me, it's nowhere near the type of calculus you end up learning if you're the trig-based calculus you take normally.
Sure.
No, nothing, very little carried over.
Okay.
Except from when I started messing around with the stock market, of which I have a 20% return year to date, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah, 20% return. Okay. But what I do, it was interesting becoming a teacher, a science teacher, because you really have to, well, one, you have to know the science, but two, you also have to understand how people learn, which is the most difficult part, actually. The science part is easy for me because I'm a nerd and I love the shit and I do nothing but watch documentaries. Like the science part, okay, organic chemistry beat my ass. I'm not gonna organic chemistry beat my ass. That's impossible. But the actual science content, like your biology classes and ecology and all that stuff, that wasn't the hard part. The hard part is truly figuring out how people learn. And that is still an ongoing question. Like nobody really can give you a direct answer on how do people learn information.
Because I feel it's it's kind of broad. It's like, okay, well, how do people learn? Well, I mean, everybody's an individual, and then, how does this specific individual process information? So it's like I'm sure there must be certain things that might work for, like, you could just categorize maybe, I don't know, three groups of people, right? Or, I don't know, you tell me.
You can. There are a whole bunch of different learning theories or different learning models of how information is actually processed. There are some old ones. There's the VARC, I think, which is the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, kind of those types of learners. That's not real. That's kind of been debunked. There's no such thing as a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic or something like that learner. Those categories don't exist, though people are still convinced they do. Mm-hmm. I subscribe to a model of learning called constructivism, which you could, dear God, if I start talking about it, I'll just kind of start spewing a dissertation. Essentially, what it means is that learning happens when your preconceived ideas, your concepts of how something works, there's a moment of crisis. So everybody has an idea of how the world works, right? If you like push somebody on a swing and they fall over, right? You have some idea of what happened, right? You push them, the force exerted was greater than whatever was holding them on the swing. Maybe they were holding themselves and you push harder than they can hold on, right? You have some idea of how the world works, some way of figuring out why things happen, right? You have an idea of how something might happen. Learning occurs when you get data and information that conflicts with what your model of the universe was, or what your model or your understanding of something is. And learning happens when you get that crisis. Okay, this is what I thought. This is new information. Can I consolidate these and gain a new, better understanding of the world? So that's what I do in my classroom. So that's constructivism.
Okay.
The first thing I do with anything, and my kids get really mad at this when they do this, but then they end up, I tell them in the beginning of the year, play my game, just go with the process and you will learn. And by the second or third unit, they're like, oh yeah, I see what you're doing now. The first thing I throw them, and this is like lesson day 1, is all like, make me a model of a city as an ecosystem. What? Make me a model that shows me a city is an ecosystem. What?
Is that like before explaining what
Yep.
an ecosystem might be?
They know what an ecosystem is. They're my environmental science students.
Okay.
They've had biology. They have an ecosystem.
All right.
They live in a city. They know what it is, and they've built models before. I mean, everybody's built a model of something, right? Just
Sure.
okay. Go ahead, make me a model that shows me a city as an ecosystem. Knock yourself out. And I give them like 3 days. Go do it.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and then they started asking me, well, what do you mean? Well, I'm like, what do you think I mean? Do you mean like showing you the birds and the trees? I'm like, is that part of an ecosystem? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well then go do it. Go do it. And then I start throwing in, and then I start talking about all the other things. And that's when learning happens. Learning happens when their idea, okay, oh, a city can be an ecosystem? Okay, that's weird. How can it be? And then learning happens when I start showing them and then we start exploring and we go outside and we look at trees and we identify trees and we look at the birds in the trees and the bugs in the trees and we talk about how lawns work and we talk about how water flows through cities and how it's different than a forest. And then suddenly that opens up their world and they're like, oh my God! Ah!
What about the kids that don't necessarily have that click for them?
They will.
Every
Eventually.
time? I mean, you have as far as
150.
like, okay, well, as far as your kids, but like, the kids that do not. So are you saying that every single kid, all 150 kids,
Nope.
learn exactly just like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, all 150 kids learn exactly just like that, yes. Everybody learns the same way, yes.
Okay. Are they
yes.
processing that information the same?
Yes. Now, the question is, the kids who participate in the learning, they're learning. The kids who don't, the kids who zone out, they're not learning.
Okay.
But those kids also wouldn't be learning if you were lecturing or showing a video. They're just zoned out.
So usually,
So,
those outliers are just essentially people who are
Yeah.
essentially just kind of checked out.
And then my question is, how do I get the kids who are checked out to pay attention to me? And you've never seen me in the classroom. But
I mean, now
I am
not
described as high-key chill. I am the
High-key
extra
chill.
teacher. Like, I frighten parents. like that's who I am as a
Yeah.
teacher. But it's really the learning part that's important. And the being well-rounded really helps. Like, especially this year. So of what I mean by why being swole of mind is important and why being well-rounded is important. I'm a science teacher, right? But I've moonlighted as a photographer and I know how to do video. How is that related to teaching in any capacity? Well, fuck shit, as it turns out. During a pandemic, my skill is suddenly useful.
Right.
So there I was, right before school started, working through professional developments, like teaching teachers how to do what I've been doing, or what I know how to do outside of work. Suddenly, a skill that you thought may have been unrelated, suddenly extremely related and vital. You never know what one corner of a world might suddenly relate to another. Being well-rounded is super important, especially in the gym. And I think this is where we can tie into kind of the learning stuff. If you are an athlete, or if you are a bodybuilder or a power lifter or anything, it is so important. I don't want to say vital, but it is so helpful for you to understand what's happening in your body.
Right.
And this is where in my training and, when I lift with friends or I try to explain things to friends or fellow gym bros, where my background in biology comes in extremely helpful, right? Because hi, I'm a biology teacher, environmental science teacher, but I started as a biology teacher, so I took a lot of biology classes. So, of course, I learned at a college level, here's how your muscles work, here's how your bones work, here's all the chemistry that happens in your muscles, here's how metabolism actually works, here's how proteins are actually synthesized in your body, here's how your body actually really does all these things, right?
Right.
It is so useful to know that when you're looking at routines and you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm training for strength. What's my rep range? Why am I getting so tired? What are my glycogen counts? How does all of that work? It is so extremely useful to know that when you're trying to figure out what it is you're trying to do, right? If you're training for strength, you want to go with heavy weights to keep your central nervous system adapted to that kind of load, right? Strength really is, if you're training powerlifting or anything like that, yes, having huge muscles works, but that's a central nervous system movement. You're not training your muscles nearly as much as you are training your central nervous system. This is why powerlifters, they can hit a brand new world record and it'll look like a lightweight. Will they be able to do a second rep? God, no. But their central nervous system has been adapted in such a way that it can send signals to muscles in a particular order and a particular speed to do a certain movement efficiently.
Learning patterns.
Repetition.
Yeah.
And then why do bodybuilders need X amount of protein? Is it useful to have more protein than that? No, not really.
Debatable, right?
Because actually, the way I like to think about it in terms of, okay, so you want to build more muscle. Great. Okay. Let's say muscles are cookies. Okay. And you're at home and you're trying to bake cookies. Correct? Maybe there's a bake sale, whatever. You're baking cookies. You're a bodybuilder. You're building muscles. You're a baker. You're baking cookies. Mm-hmm. If I give you a pound of flour, 12 eggs, and a bunch of sugar, you'll be able to use all of that to make cookies. Yes?
Sure.
Okay, now what if I suddenly throw at you 50 pounds of flour, 500 eggs, and like 70 bags of sugar? Will you be able to make all of that into cookies?
I mean, time frame? Do we have a time frame for this?
Well, I mean, your oven only fits so much.
Okay, I mean,
right?
That's what we're talking about.
You can only bake, it takes like, 30 minutes to bake one batch of cookies. Like, no, it's not feasible to just throw a whole bunch of shit in your body hoping you're... Now, don't get me wrong. Right? If you are 7 foot tall, 400 pounds, yes, your body can use 6,000, 7,000 calories a day. Your body is in a position, you are the industrial kitchen, right? You are the industrial bakery production line. Your body can. But it's also knowing, like, this is my BMR. How do you calculate that? How is that useful? A lot of these things are very useful when trying to figure out how to improve your performance, how to improve your training, all of that stuff.
Right.
How do you keep up with your learning? How do you keep learning today?
I mean, today it's just reference to a lot of my old books, or if, like right now, I'll go to specific other references. So like, for instance, like a source like Swole University, or somebody who has like a higher education, they're doctors or whatever. And I'll use that information, and essentially I'll read it, and if it makes sense and this applies to what I'm specifically trying to figure out, it's like, okay, somebody comes to me with some kind of a pain, or there's an issue, or like a person's moving a certain kind of way, and maybe I just forgot how to do a specific thing. So it's just going back to reference. To a book, to a video, whatever's easier to just get that, because I mean,
are there certain, so you specifically mentioned Swole University, are there any other sources that you go to, or things you watch or read on a regular basis, or is there like what are your go-tos for continued learning?
I mean, it, like, as far as that kind of stuff, I'll use my ISSA textbook, because I can just go log in. It's an ebook. So I can just go in there if it's like something very specific. But a lot of stuff is just through the internet nowadays for me, and then just verifying that that specific thing is actually true, and then just seeing if that adds up essentially.
So I'm lucky enough that I get my PubMeds and JSTOR, so I have access to all the like journals. If you're scientifically literate and you know how to like decode the writing and this like weird science jargon of journals,
you sit there every week and read journals.
for environmental science, yeah, I read it like
do
one
you?
or two articles a week easily, yeah. But other than that, then when we're talking about like physical training stuff like I do, number one, YouTube Alan Thrall. Alan Thrall, as far as like learning how to do movements, like learning how to tire flip or learning how to Atlas stone load or learning, Alan Thrall is my number one go-to source. I'm not saying he's the best. He's the best I've seen so far. There might be somebody else, but I fucking love Alan Thrall. He explains everything clearly. He shows you. He even tells you, like, here's what not to do. If you're videoing yourself and you see your upper back doing this, here's what's wrong. Here's what you can do to fix it.
Yep.
They're very thorough. I love him to death. And for science content, like the actual science behind lifting, Picture Fit. So Picture Fit is a YouTube channel, and God, I wish they were bigger. Picture Fit is fully cited, citations, studies, everything he says. He always says, according to this study, according to this study.
Yeah.
And then he says, but that study only had 50 participants. This study had 100, and then you can start comparing. Picture Fit on YouTube is probably one of the best cited sources I've ever seen on YouTube for fitness information.
Renaissance Periodization, or I forget what that guy's name is. Mike Israel, I think is his name. He's another one. So he'll take like some kind of concept, whatever that might be. For instance, metabolizing food or whatever, and then he'll make a very specific point, and then he breaks it down in a very nice way. So you don't have to sit there and read through information, because the way he breaks it down, he has a little PowerPoint in the side of the video. And then he'll go point by point, and then just kind of go through that specific topic. Yeah. So that's another one I like to use. Renaissance Periodization. That one's pretty good. On top of like Squat University, but Squat University, it just pops up in my social media. So I'm on my phone. It's there. I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna absorb that information. Yeah. Simple.
Yeah. So I mean, but then you also have to, when this is super important, when you're reading something or when you're listening to somebody on YouTube, where are they getting their information from, right? Something like Renaissance Periodization or Picture Fit or even More Plates, More Dates. Love that guy. These are people who cite their sources, and they always cite, and this is what's important, find information. Like if you are not super science literate, which means you haven't taken a science class, if I show you a professional like research paper, you would have no idea how to decode it. Make sure the people you are listening to and the people you are reading are using those primary sources. They're showing you that they're citing journal articles, that they're citing research. They're not citing, some survey done by CNN of men over 50. Yeah. They're using primary sources written by experts. Please, please, please. But if you're gonna look at a source, look at where they're getting their information from.
I have an argument against that in certain cases, like when certain people, or for instance, like when people sell a product, like a supplement specifically, they'll cite research, but they're gonna cherry pick a very specific part of that research piece. So there'll be like a bunch of other information, but they're just highlighting a very specific thing within that research page or whatever, and then it's like, yep, it's definitely that, and then they sell their product. So I mean, what do you say to that? They technically cited information.
That's true. So I guess this is where, oh wow. So when I start my kids off, I don't do this anymore in AP because they're really good at it, and I don't do it I teach in a specialized program, so I teach in a science program. So all the students who are in this were accepted into a specialized science-based track at my school. So this is actually something they're taught their freshman year, and I usually teach sophomores or seniors. But back when I taught freshmen, one of the first things that we would do when I start teaching them how to do research, or they were working on a research project, is what are some things you want to ask before you start picking information out of a website. And the first one is who wrote it, right? So who's the author? And the second question is, are they trying to convince you of something? Are they trying to sell you something, and where are they getting their information from?
Right.
So those are the 4 questions I like to ask to how do you know a source is valid? One, the author. If you look at the author and you Google their name and turns out that they publish, a lot of their information on spiritualhealing.com, maybe spiritualhealing.com might not be the best source for, information on how to, I don't know, maybe not die.
Right.
Are they trying to convince you of something? What's their point? Are they giving you information, or are they actively trying to convince you of a position? That's not to say it's wrong. That's not to say that they won't get you the right information. Just be aware, if they're trying to convince you of something, that they're trying to convince you that something is good or better than another, they're coming from a bias. You should put extra scrutiny into what they're saying. Are they trying to sell you something? Are they trying to sell you a product? Maybe what they're saying is right, but it brings up the question of, is what they're saying totally true? They're trying to sell me something. Are they just trying to make the product look good, or are they actually giving me valuable information?
Right.
And then number 4 is, where are they getting their information from, right?
Right. That makes sense. I mean, just breaking, essentially, so if somebody is trying to sell a product, okay, whatever it might be, or it claims this specific thing, they give you that specific source, and then which that piece could be true to some extent, but it might not be the whole picture. So I think it's just like actually finding that original source and then understanding the rest of the material and seeing if that even adds up to the product.
So 2 things to wrap up that part of the discussion. Number 1, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Sure.
If somebody is making a claim like lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, no. And so, number 1, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So if something sounds if something sounds surprising, you better be able to back it up. And number 2, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Agreed. That's definitely true.
So it's about finding your own little bullshit detector, Number 1, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If somebody says something that's really impressive or crazy, you're like, can you back that up? Can you actually prove that? Because that sounds crazy. And number 2, if it does sound too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because usually, especially if you throw a price tag on there and you're like, okay, but the thing is with that specific thing, a lot of people, these specific products and stuff like that will typically market and prey on people's insecurities. So people are very vulnerable, so they might not go out of their way. But, if somebody is actually, more conscious of those things, then they will spot the bullshit, so to speak.
And the best way to learn, just do it. Just fucking do it. Like, if you want to learn how to bench press, watch a video, read an article, and then bench. Just go bench.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd get a coach, right? Somebody who can teach you how to do it, right? A personal trainer, somebody like that. Ideally, that's how you would do it, right?
Yeah.
But you and I learned without that. So it's not to say that it's impossible. Just, be careful. Just go out and do it. Start light and do it. If you want to learn how to do something, fucking do it. That's how you learn stuff. You keep doing it like you suck at doing it until you stop sucking at doing it. And now you know how to do the thing.
Right.
If you want to learn how to ride a bike, go ride a bike. Eventually, you will stop falling. If you want to learn how to edit video, keep editing video until it stops looking like shit.
Right.
Just do the thing fail at the thing until you stop failing at the thing. That's how you learn.
It's true.
Do the damn thing.
That's very true. That's how we all learn. That's how I learn.
That's how everybody does it. It's how surgeons learn. They practice on cadavers before they ever touch a human thing. You just do the thing until you're good at the thing, and then it gets progressively harder, and then good luck.
And you find your
You
little
just
groove.
do the thing.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to play guitar? You learned how to play guitar. You taught yourself how to play guitar. What did you do?
I don't know. Kept playing guitar.
You kept doing the thing until you
I kind of sucked less.
until you sucked less. Exactly.
Still suck, but I suck less.
Do the thing until you stop sucking at the
Right.
thing, and now you're good at the thing. Congratulations.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's quiz each other.
All right.
So here's what we did. We decided Swole of Mind, right? Let's do it. So we have 3 easy questions apiece, 3 medium
we'll see.
questions apiece, and 3 hard questions apiece.
Yeah.
So let's do. Let's do. I'll ask all 3 of your easy ones, and all 3 of your easy ones. We'll go back and forth per
Okay.
category. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then, well, 3 through 3 is 9, and we have 1 legendary question, 1 super omega insanely hard question.
You do. So I mean, yeah. I'll be your guinea pig. So I guess
Okay.
we'll see.
All right. Ooh, do we have a piece of paper? Ooh, let scores. Rip the page out.
Here's a page.
Here's a page. Rip it out.
Oh shit.
Okay. So we've got. Okay, we got Chris. And we got Arthur. And I guess you're asking me first?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting with the easy ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is overtraining syndrome?
What is. This is an easy question?
I think.
Shit. Oh my god. Overtraining syndrome.
I mean, it's like,
So are your question like, what is it at a cellular level, or what is it at, like, what are the symptoms of it?
I would just say it's describe what you think it is, and if it's definitely like pretty close, then I would give it to you.
So overtraining syndrome would be characterized by excessive muscle fatigue due to consistent overuse. This may be due probably to small tears in the muscle that have accumulated, pressure in the joints, probably some lactic acid buildup. That's probably what I'm going to go with overtraining syndrome. Maybe it's comorbid with some sort of adrenal fatigue. Due to abuse of caffeine or overuse of certain stimulants. So the adrenaline in your body, the reuptake of it is inhibited in some way just because of that overexposure. So it's probably comorbid with adrenal fatigue. So I'm going to guess minor muscle damage. So I don't want to call it like a muscle tear, but definitely like hypertrophy level stuff, combined with some sort of adrenal fatigue.
So it's basically, it's just burnout. So it's like so essentially if you're in the gym, so like in definition, it's like a decline in performance. So I guess I would say for the most part it's kind of that, but it's like, let's say you're training, and then next week you do the exact same thing. You might have been working too hard and your performance declines. So the definition of it would be somewhere around that. Essentially, it's burnout, to kind of sum it up. But I mean, I guess I would give it to you.
Cool. I get a
Sounds
point.
about right.
Okay, so yay! I got the first one right. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
God, I fucking hate you because this is as easy as it gets. Okay, ready?
I mean, I got some easy ones.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy.
What is the primary muscle utilized during a standard barbell curl? Fucking, you're coming at me with
Bicep.
overtraining.
No, I got
fatigue.
an easy one. For you.
Okay.
I got an easy one for you.
So what was your answer?
The bicep.
Now, I don't want to give you a
Brachialis.
bonus point. I don't want to give you a bonus point, but for brownie points, not number. Can you give me the antagonist muscle?
The tricep.
We're 1-1.
All right.
Easy. Second easy question.
Okay. Bread, pasta, and rice are what kind of macronutrient?
Carbohydrates.
Correct.
Nice. Look at my number 2.
Give it a minute.
Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Identify
Identify
a food that is
It's high in
high in
carbohydrates.
carbohydrates.
Is it like A through what? D or what?
No, identify a food that is high in carbohydrates.
Identify a food that is high in carbohydrates. Were you gonna give me a list?
Nope.
Oh.
I'm just gonna have you think of one off the top of your head.
I mean, what's the most carby thing? A bagel? Like,
Sure.
I would say a bagel is kind
You
of.
have a list right in fucking front of you. You
Oh,
just asked
yeah,
me
that's-
a carb question.
That's true.
That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, that is kind of funny.
All right, we're 2 for 2, Chris.
I was just thinking like, you know, I'm overthinking here. Okay.
Oh god.
Okay. Who was world's strongest man in 2019?
2019.
2019.
Martins, Leachies.
Yes.
Nice.
Yup. Shit.
This year it was Luke Stolman.
Yeah. Brownie point. See, I mean, you gave me the follow-up.
Raider, was it Tom? Shit.
It was
one of the Stoltman brothers. Who gives a
the-
shit?
the Scottish guy.
Yeah, the Scottish guys.
Wow.
Whichever one has autism. Okay.
What?
This one, okay. You gave me a hard, easy one. I'm giving you a hard, easy one, okay?
Uh-huh.
Name the 6 big compound exercises.
6.
Here, I'll let you
right.
keep note.
Okay.
There are 6 big compound exercises, commonly known as the Big 6. Now, there is some debate over which actually qualify as the Big 6, and
Okay.
depending on where you look, you're going to get different answers, but I will accept any 6 compound exercises.
Okay.
So not necessarily the Big 6 that I'm thinking of, because there are some that get moved around depending on who you ask.
I'll just kind of assume that these are the ones you're talking about because it makes sense. I hope.
You don't have to write them down. I mean, it's helpful to keep track. It's helpful to keep track.
I'm a very, very visual. I gotta write it out in my head.
Yeah, same.
Bench, dad, overhead, press,
Oof.
the bent over row.
So there are 6 here.
Shit, I'm at 4. Shit, I'm like, fuck, there's
You're at
only
4.
4. Fuck, I need 2 more. Compound movement. I guess we go Olympic. Let's do the clean and jerk. I hope. And then one more. I'm just gonna take a stab at it. Cause I don't know. Cause if I, all right, whatever. Let's do. What's the other? I swear I'm missing. I'm missing an obvious one. The squat. Okay. Barbell bench press.
Yes.
Barbell deadlift.
Yes.
Barbell overhead press.
Yes.
Barbell bent over row.
Absolutely.
Barbell clean and jerk.
That does count.
And the barbell squat.
Does count.
Yes.
So those are 6.
Okay.
So the clean is commonly listed. The 6 I had are the squat, deadlift, overhead, bench, row, and pull up.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I added the pull up.
Yeah.
But the pull up is not commonly listed. But it's commonly is replaced with the clean.
Okay.
So the clean does count depending on who you ask.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we're 3 for 3.
Okay. Wait, what was the paper? That was,
There it is.
Okay.
We're 3 for 3.
right.
All right. So we both got all the easy ones.
Okay.
I got to give you the point here too.
Okay.
All right. We're 3 for 3.
Uh-huh.
We're moving into the medium level questions now.
Okay.
Medium level questions.
Who goes first?
I asked the last one, so you go first.
Okay. What is the difference between adduction and abduction?
Oh, fuck. So linear plane.
Yep.
Yes. So let's say I split my body down. One moves in, one moves out. Now, if I can remember which one,
There's an easy little trick. Usually, I'll just tell people to
Fuck.
to just think of the.
I'm gonna say okay. So I'm gonna go with adduction. Is you're moving away from your from your linear plane. So you're, let's say in the context of knees, adduction is you're moving your knees out. Abduction is you're moving your knees in.
Is that your final answer?
Okay, hold on.
I mean, yes, but in reverse.
So it is abduction out, adduction in.
Adduction in, because I always look at it like I'm adding in, and then like that's the only way I remember that is I'm adding.
God damn it!
in.
It's something I should know. I was thinking like in terms of angles, right? I'm adding to the length of the angle going out.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, so I get my first one wrong. Okay.
What's your...
So no point for me. Point for you. Okay.
Hopefully.
What compound in energy drinks is the only compound with experimentally verified evidence for improving performance? Now, technically, depending on the energy drink, there could be more than one correct answer, but there is one specific one. So what compound in energy drinks is the only compound with experimentally verified evidence for improving performance?
I mean, I'm just gonna say caffeine.
Correct.
I was like,
yeah.
It got really wordy, but I was like, it's probably just.
So
I'm over.
Caffeine is correct. And then I also have in parentheses, I will accept beta-alanine and or creatine.
See, I was thinking.
However,
something more.
They are not common in energy drinks.
Oh, like creatine and yeah. Because I was thinking in like the terms of like a sports energy drink. I actually was thinking like beta-alanine first, but I'm like, okay, it's probably the more
all right.
other one.
Chris, you get the point. Let's go.
All right. What makes a complex carb a complex carb?
A complex carbohydrate has additional monomers attached to it. So if you're thinking about like a complex carbohydrate, if you're thinking about a carbohydrate being a chain of sugars, a complex carbohydrate is a really long chain of additional monomers. Cool.
Yep. That's the one.
Who has the most Mr. Olympia titles?
Oh, shit. I wonder if he broke it.
Who has the most Mr. Olympia titles?
I'm just going to say Phil Heath.
Incorrect.
Oh, fuck. Is it Ronnie Coleman?
Yes.
Okay, fuck.
It is Ronnie Coleman.
Shit,
however, there are two correct answers. Ronnie Coleman is actually tied with Lee Haney.
Oh, shit. See? Yeah, my bodybuilding history's off.
We're 4-4.
All right.
We're 4-4. You go.
All right. What were Martin Leach's two best lifts in that 2019 event? Like the ones he was number one in.
The events he won?
Like the one where he was like where essentially he won. He was number one. He did 10 points.
Log?
I don't know what I'll give it away if I say it. Because I'm trying to, I didn't even like see like what that specific lift looks like. Hold on.
So there is, well, Martins is fast. So my two answers would have been log and a load medley.
It is
I don't even remember what I don't even remember what all the events 2 years ago were.
So he did well in the Atlas Stone. In 2019.
Yeah.
What would this one be? See, the other one, it says it was a squat lift, but
oh yeah,
I don't even know what the hell that
World's
is.
Strongest Man has a very specific squat, so it's a squat. But do you remember when we did pin squats?
Yeah,
it's just a glorified pin squat.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
because I was like trying to. That's what I thought it might have been like the log press. I didn't see it, but I was like,
yeah. No. So okay, so I got that one. Okay, so we're still 4-4. That was the last of the medium, right?
Yeah.
So here's your last medium question, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. What are the judging criteria in bodybuilding?
Oh shit. Oh, you got me here. I'm gonna take a stab at it. How many did you say there were?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Symmetry.
Yep.
Proportion.
Yes.
See, I don't know if that's the same because I'm just gonna say size, but I don't know if that's actually
I'll grant it to you. Mass, size.
okay.
I'll give it to you.
Shit. Posing.
I'll grant it to you. Yeah. I mean, officially it's called stage presence, but yeah, posing.
Shit.
I'll give it to you. It's the same thing.
Okay.
The last one.
I'm just gonna guess. I'm gonna say personality.
Nope.
I don't know,
So I feel bad not giving you the point because you do get most of them.
but still.
But so
Fair.
you get proportion, symmetry, mass and size. You're posing.
What's the last one? Oh, maybe conditioning.
Similar term. So definition.
Oh,
Right.
definition.
Yeah. So definition.
Okay.
I think that means the same thing as
Like the leanness.
yeah,
I guess.
leanness. Yeah, as definition. Okay.
Got it.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll give you the point. You're right.
Shoot.
I'll give you the point. I'll give you the point. Okay, so now we're in the hard questions.
My legendary is like stupid. So
Now we're in the hard questions.
Maybe one of these would be. I'll start with a funny one, kind of funny,
Okay.
because I want to see you write it out.
Goddamn.
Okay. Spell Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
Oh God. The Icelandic spelling?
Yeah, do the little symbol.
Oh fucking hell.
Fine, do it the American way. Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. I was like, fuck it, we're going to do a spelling bee once.
Where did I get wrong?
You need an extra S.
Ah, motherfucker. Bjorn's son. Ah!
Yeah, that would
God damn.
Those damn Icelandic names.
God fucking damn. Damn.
Everything else was correct.
Sorry, Half Thor.
I knew the Bjornsson shit was gonna throw you
Damn.
off a little bit, maybe.
Shit. Okay. All right. Ready?
Hold on, I need to do something funny. Wants to be a millionaire.
Oh my God.
I need the music.
You need the music?
Yeah.
These are getting a little bit trickier now.
I bet. Let's see. Is this the one I want?
Chris, for those of you following along, Chris has 5 points. Arthur has 4 points. Chris is going for his 6th point.
This is the most it's nerve-wracking music I've ever heard.
The calf muscles are made up of 2 muscles.
Oh shit.
The larger muscle is the gastrocnemius. What is the name of the smaller muscle directly below it?
Soleus.
Yes.
Shit.
Congratulations.
Fuck. I was like, oh, he named the one I know. I was like, oh shit, I'm fucked. Shit.
Okay. My first hard question.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. My second hard question. Shit.
All right. Let's see. Which one do I want? This one's. It is kind of tricky. Which exercise allows you to adduct and abduct at the same time? At the exact same time.
Ooh. So something that would move.
So essentially, you're going in one half of your body and then out with the other part, or away from the midline and then towards the midline.
A lunge?
Jumping jack.
Oh, because it's wow.
Because the legs come out and then the hands come in.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. I didn't know that actually until, well, I didn't think about it like that until they do these like little seminar things at Export, and one of the guys was like talking about that, and he was just like throwing these like random things.
No shit.
I was like, oh shit, I guess you're right.
Wow.
Weird.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Shit.
This is something that you threw into the medium, but it's something that I threw into the hard. The joint movement that results in an increase of the joint angle is called what?
One more time.
So the joint movement that results in an increase of the joint angle. So if you're moving your joint, what's increasing the joint angle?
Oh, I see. Increasing would be I don't know if it's the right term for it, but like the flexion in the joint. Like when I do that and not this with the angle.
Much like I got it backwards, you got it backwards.
Fuck.
Increasing the angle, right? So here's a narrow angle, wide angle.
Yeah.
Extension is an increase of the angle.
See, I'm not even.
Flexion is a
Yeah.
smaller of the angle.
God.
All right. Next,
Okay.
the last hard question.
For me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are the 3 planes of motion?
Do you mean like?
So essentially, there's 3. You can divide the movements into 3 different categories. So this way, that way, and then this way.
Are they?
Or it's like rotational.
Are they? Okay, so here's my question. Are they also the terms that would be used to describe a specimen on a lab table, like radial?
Almost. You might like. I mean, it's like
Because there's radial symmetry. There is shit.
I'm curious now. Maybe.
So there's radial,
This music's I hope this shit's
radial,
on.
lateral, and fuck. What's the last one? So different ways to cut something in half. So there's radial, there's lateral, and there is longitudinal. So radial is this.
Yeah.
And then latitudinal is, and then longitudinal is up down. But I just don't know the terms get weird.
So it goes sagittal plane,
Okay,
frontal, and then transverse.
and transverse. Okay, I did not get that right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was thinking about a totally different thing.
sagittal would be like a back squat.
Yeah.
And then frontal plane would be moving this way, like
Okay.
lateral raise, and then transverse is rotational, so
Okay.
like a Russian twist.
So
or
those are
something
not
like that.
the terms that would be used to describe a specimen.
I guess
In,
not.
and I'll have to look those back up because now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Okay. Your last hard question. Now, it's easy to know that your body stores energy in the form of fat. However, your body can also store energy as a carbohydrate. What is the name for the carbohydrates that animals can store?
Glycogen.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
I was gonna say glucose.
It's not a carbohydrate.
I know. I like it's. I'm like G.
Did I make these too easy? Fucking
I
hell.
don't know.
Are these too easy? All right, your legendary question.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Your legendary question.
You ready for it?
Yes.
What
No.
can't you spell legendary without?
Leg day.
Yes.
I'll give it to myself. I'll give it to myself.
should.
Okay. Ready for your legendary question?
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually have this written down.
Okay.
The Bulgarian split squat
Oh, fucking God.
is actually
fucking-
a variation of A, a squat, or B, a lunge. Fuck! I'm joking. Here's your actual legendary question. Okay, ready?
See, mine was stupid, but let's hear it.
This
Go
is
ahead.
true legendary.
Uh-huh.
What is the name of the neurotransmitter that is released into the synapse to induce a muscular contraction? So here we're looking at the axon. So here we're looking at, if you want to be very specific, it's called the neuromuscular junction, if you want to be super specific about it. But what is the name of the neurotransmitter that is released into the synapse to induce a muscular contraction? This is literally why your muscles move.
Lactic acid.
No.
What was it?
Not even close. Lactic acid is a byproduct of fermentation, of lactic acid fermentation,
Yeah.
which is what produces the ATP that allows your muscles to move. But this is the actual signal, so the neurotransmitter.
Yeah.
The signal that tells your body to contract.
I'll take maybe another stab at it, but
Would you like a multiple choice version
do I have
of
a
it?
lifeline?
Would you like
Can I phone a friend?
Your lifeline is I can make this multiple choice.
Okay. All right. Let's try that.
A, calcium, B, troponin, C, acetylcholine, or D, actin. I will repeat them. A, calcium, B, troponin, C, acetylcholine, D, actin.
I think it's troponin.
Incorrect.
Was
So
it
the
actin?
neurotransmitter is acetylcholine.
Oh, acetylcholine.
Actin is actually a type of muscle fiber.
Yeah, shit. I gotta hit the books again.
The
damn it.
legendary. So that I got from Googling the 5 hardest NASM questions.
Yeah.
And that was number 1.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. If you had asked me that question, do you think I would have gotten it right?
I feel like you would.
No.
No?
No.
I'm like,
I did not study that.
Yeah.
If you had asked me about plant hormones, plant biochemistry, I would have told you the answer. I can tell you how plants move, auxin, the hormone auxin, and how plants can use it to make
That
turgid
music, man.
some cells, which is, you know how plants like turn towards the sun? I
Yeah.
can tell you all about how plants move. Can't tell you shit about how humans move. Like at a biochemical level. Like I
Yeah.
can't tell you the neurotransmitters involved.
Yeah.
So the final score was 5 points for Arthur, 6 points for Chris. Looks like Chris is smarter than me, but his questions were fucking harder. How do you spell Hafthor Julius Bornson? Bitch, I can't spell shit without spell check.
Hit hard, man.
I'm a mathematician, motherfucker.
That was great. That was good. Oh, shit. I don't even know what I'm hearing.
And with that, for the next podcast, we will be talking about Swole of Heart.
I wonder, it's going to get emotional.
It's gonna get emotional. Yeah,
It's going to get emotional.
it's gonna get emotional.
Can't wait.
If you want to watch 2 grown men cry, which, by the way, is totally healthy way to express your emotions. Guys, it's okay to cry, okay?
As you'll find out next week.
That said, we are inviting a friend to Iron Theory Gym. We are getting ready to pump some shit up. Stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, Iron Theory CG, Iron Theory _AW. Search us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Find us. Godspeed. May Odin bless you.
Should we go live on that?
Sure.
Go Instagram live, maybe?
Yeah.